AMD's management team reassured stock market investors of the company's expectations for 2025, highlighting they still expect double-digit revenue growth, profits to expand, and key progress in critical market categories. I wanted to share with you those developments here in this video so you could get more information to make your decision about AMD stock.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
So one of its categories that had been underperforming is the embedded segment, and management said that demand continues to recover gradually, and they expect it to return to growth in the second half of 2025. That's good news because the embedded segment and the gaming segment had been weighing down the company's overall revenue growth. The other categories, which include the client segment and the AI data center segment, had been thriving. So if the embedded segment returns to growth in the second half of 2025, coupled with the decreasing decline in the custom console segment for gaming, then the company can benefit from the thriving data center AI segment and the client computing segment to generate well-rounded growth for the overall business. AMD CEO Lisa Su said that they remain confident that they can deliver strong double-digit percentage revenue growth in 2025. And that was a relief because remember, coming into this quarter, there was a lot of concerns from AMD stock investors. For one, the export controls for the Instinct MI308X shipments to China cost the company several $100 million in the most recent quarter and will cost the company over $1 billion in sales in 2025. So investors were concerned about those export controls. Furthermore, investors were concerned about the impacts of tariffs and how AMD's business will adapt to those changing macroeconomic policies. And so there was a lot of question marks coming into the quarter, and this reassured a lot of investors that, okay, we can breathe a sigh of relief. The company has plans in place. They have mitigation strategies. They can adapt to the changing circumstances and still deliver strong double-digit revenue growth in 2025. Their product ramps have been great in recent years. They're ramping production of their Instinct MI350 series accelerators, and this is for the AI data center category in the second half of the year. And demand in this category is insane. I've been evaluating the earnings reports and management discussions from hyperscalers like Amazon, Microsoft, and Alphabet, and they basically all said that they have more demand than they have supply. That if they had more supply of data center capacity, that they could have served more customers. And so they keep investing in this category. And so AMD increasing production, increasing supply, there's already demand there to meet that supply. And so that's going to be positive for AMD. And as they continue delivering these products, they're benefiting from that industry tailwind. I just wanted to remind everyone that I've had AMD stock rated as one of my top 9 stocks to buy in 2025. And after I evaluated the company's latest financial results, which included the financial statements, the conference call, and everything the company reported, I reiterated my recommendation for AMD stock, and I let everyone know that I still think that after these financial results, the company is still one of the best stocks to buy. I think the valuation is relatively cheap, and what you're getting in return for forward price to earnings ratio, that's around 20. And then if I shared with you my discounted cash flow valuation model for AMD stock, you'll see how undervalued it is. So in fact, I'll share that with you here. It's my intrinsic value calculation for AMD stock has the business worth $135 a share, and it's trading at $103 per share after the stock is up about 2.75 percentage points here today on positive developments and the company's recent earnings release. So AMD is also expanding investments in their product and technology roadmaps, go-to-market initiatives, and full-stack AI software and data center solutions capabilities. And this is one reason why investors are a little bit concerned about AMD. Whenever a company announces big investments, big spending plans to capitalize on an opportunity, investors are almost always concerned, right? And you see this across the board, whether we're talking about Intel, whether we're talking about Micron, and more recently, I did a video about Palantir and why the stock price fell by 14% following what was a great earnings release. But what was included in the earnings release was Palantir's management team saying that they're going to increase spending to meet this soaring customer demand. Micron saying similar things. They're increasing spending to meet customer demand. Amazon, Microsoft, Alphabet, all saying they're increasing spending to meet customer demand. So even though these businesses are increasing spending because of increasing demand, and these businesses have demonstrated that they're good at what they do, and you can see evidence of that in their strong returns on investor capital, investors still get spooked when these businesses announce these spending plans. And to be more specific, the company said that operating expenses were $2.2 billion in the most recent quarter, which was an increase of 28%, as we continue to invest aggressively in go-to-market activities and research and development to address the significant growth opportunities ahead of us. So you might be wondering, why do investors get spooked despite all that evidence that supports that they should be happy about the company finding opportunities to invest, right? And the reason is because of risk. When a business is spending this much money, even though they're good at what they do, they're not always 100% effective. And so when they are spending more, when they are increasing investment, there is a chance that those investments do not turn out to be successful. And you don't need to look far. Look at how damaging Intel's investments have been. Now, it's still not completed all of its investments, and we haven't seen the full effect, but the results have not been good, and investors are scared of that kind of scenario. I don't want to say scared, but they're spooked, right? They don't want to be a part of that kind of scenario where a company invests aggressively for a potential opportunity, but misses the mark and ends up losing a lot of capital. So even though companies like AMD that have been successful, have good ROIC, have demonstrated an ability to research and develop great products, when they make announcements about increasing spending, investors get spooked. And that's understandable because it means a higher risk element.
Hey everyone, if you like watching my videos, then I've added a great complimentary product just for you. I've written a book that's available for sale now that highlights my 6-step investing framework. Even if you don't follow that investing framework, just reading it and knowing how I evaluate stocks will make it a lot more interesting and informative to watch my videos. I've added the link in the description below.